Hey everyone, it's JR. Welcome back to Tech 101, the free intro course where we make IT simpler, clear, and practical. If you've been following the series, you understand what IT is, how hardware and networking work, and how software ties it all together. But today, we're talking about the layer that protects everything: security fundamentals. Now, if you haven't seen the other parts, what are you doing? Go watch those and I'll be here waiting, okay? I'm kidding. If you haven't seen the other ones, just go back, go watch those, and then just come back and watch this one, okay? Let's get started. Okay, Tech 101 Part 4, Security Fundamentals. This is it. This is the last one, guys. So what are we gonna be learning today? Okay, so we're gonna learn what cybersecurity really means, the most common types of attacks and how they work, how to protect yourself and your data, and the key security roles that keep organizations safe. Okay, let's jump right in. So let's see. So what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is all about protecting systems, networks, and data from digital attacks. Anything that tries to steal, damage, or sneak in where it doesn't belong. Think of it like having a digital security guard and never sleeps, standing watch 24/7 to keep your information safe. Every time you shop online, send an email, or stream a video, that data bounces through servers, routers, and networks all over the world, and every one of those connections is a possible entry point for an attacker. That's why cybersecurity matters. It's what keeps your digital life running safely in the background and even when you don't notice it. And here's the key: cybersecurity isn't just an IT thing, it's a shared responsibility. Whether you're managing networks or just scrolling your phone, you play a part in keeping data safe. Okay? So that's cybersecurity in a nutshell. Let's just move on. So, common cyber threats. Now that we know what we're protecting, let's look at what we've been defending against. The most common cyber threats that people and companies face every single day. Number one, we got malware. It's short for malicious software, and it's any program built to harm or exploit your system. Viruses attach to legitimate files, worms spread automatically through networks, Trojans disguise themselves as something safe, and ransomware, it locks your files and demands money to unlock them. So pretty much those are some of the most common cyber threats that these bad actors use out there to try to trick you and infect your system. Now, I got a fun fact right here. So in 2017, the WannaCry attack hit more than 200,000 computers around the world in a single weekend. Most of them just because they hadn't installed updates. So pretty much it is critical, right, for you to install those updates. I know it gets annoying and you're like, oh my God, I gotta update my phone again, or I gotta update my computer. But it's just critical because the companies release these for you to be protected, right? So make sure you're doing that. Okay, so let's go to number two, right? So we're talking about phishing, right? This one is everywhere, right? Fake emails, fake texts, robocalls, stuff that looks real, but they're designed to just steal your information. They often say things like your account has been compromised, or your account has been locked, or click here to fix it. Things like that. Those are phishing attempts. And these bad actors, believe it or not, they actually trick a lot of people with these. So you got to be very, very careful, right? So a quick rule of thumb that I will say is, if it creates urgency or asks for passwords or payments, it's almost always just a fish. It's just trying to get some information from you. Okay. So definitely be mindful of those, right? So let's continue. So the next was going to be social engineering, right? This is where attackers target people, instead of technology. They use trust, curiosity, or fear to get someone to click a link to download something or share info that they shouldn't, right? So they try to manipulate individuals. That's what social engineering does. So yeah, let's move on. Let's see. Next one right here. So we got password attacks, right? So sometimes hackers, they just don't need fancy tools. They just guess or steal or brute force your passwords. Those are some type of the attacks that actually they can do. That's why multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is so important. Even if someone gets your password, they still can get in without a second layer of security, right? So those biometric, those passkeys, sometimes the auth codes, all that good stuff is just gonna help you add another layer of security to your information. Okay. Next one is gonna be insider threats. Sometimes danger actually comes from inside instead of outside. That happens in a lot of companies, and also it happens in the government. So it can be sometimes just a careless mistake, like maybe you send a file to the wrong person and that person has malicious intent, or maybe somebody that is actually mad, frustrated with the company or government, and then they try to leak some data for money, things like that. So those are another threat that you can encounter. Now, the big picture that I want you to see here is that cyber threats, they come in all shapes and sizes. Some target systems, other target people. Knowing how they work is the first step towards stopping them, right? So I will say that these are the common threats and you need to be aware of these. So let's just move on, okay? So how cyber attack happen? Let's simplify how a typical cyber attacks unfold, because understanding how attacks work, it is actually a first step in learning how to stop them, okay? So the first thing is the reconnaissance phase. So this is where the attacker plays detective. They gather information, maybe checking your company website, whatever is public available, like maybe a public employee list or even social media, and they're gonna be looking for weak spot, right? So that's the reconnaissance phase. Now next, they go to the delivery phase. Once they know where to strike, they send something malicious, maybe a phishing email, a fake link, or exploit your system that hasn't been updated or something like that, right? Then it comes the execution. This is where the real damage begins. Malware runs, credentials get stolen, and then the systems are compromised. Last but not least, it's gone the exfiltration. Finally, the attacker takes what they came for, the data, the money, the access, whatever it is, and they just go and sometimes encrypt everything and demand a ransom to give it back, and that becomes a ransomware, right? Every single one of these stages can be stopped with the right defenses. So awareness training, patching, antivirus tools, and good security habits are just critical. So that's just the key to break the chain before the attacker actually gets too far, okay? So now let's just continue on here. So cybersecurity best practices. So now that we know what the threats are, how do we stay protected? Let's talk about that everyday habits and tools that make the difference, or the biggest difference sometimes, for both individuals and organizations. So let's see here. We got strong passwords and paraphrases. So think beyond random letters and numbers. Use long, memorable combinations of words, something only that you would just come up with, right? So maybe use a password manager. You can create and store complex password for you safely. That's just a tip right there. Number two, we talk about this, enabling MFA and multi-factor authentication. Even if someone steals your passwords, MFA adds a second layer, a second lock. It's just like a fingerprint, a text code, app prompt, like I mentioned. It's just one of the simplest way to stop hackers up cold right there. Now, number three, keep systems updated. We cover these. So those annoying pop-ups that we talk about, they actually can save you. Remember, we talk about the WannaCry. It spreads through the system and it exploits Windows critical updates. So just make sure your stuff is updated. Number 4, avoid suspicious links and attachments. Always check who email you, if it's really from that person before you start clicking stuff. Hover over a link to see where they lead. Like if it looks something off, don't touch it. Like it can be like Amazon1.com or something like that. It looks very familiar, but you can see right away that it's a phishing attempt. So just be smart about it, okay? Just pay attention and be vigilant. So number 5, back up your data regularly. Use both cloud storage and external hard drives. If ransomware ever hits, you got those backup ready, and that's your protection right there. So number 6, use antivirus, firewalls. Those are your kind of like first line of defense, scanning and blocking some of the known threats for you. And finally, stay vigilant. Be skeptical. Like if something feels off, it probably is. So just don't do it. Don't click it. Just be smart about it, okay? So cybersecurity isn't just about tools and softwares. Remember that. It's a mindset. So the more cautious and aware you are, the harder it is for attackers to succeed, if that makes sense, okay? So let's move on real quick. So, okay, next we got intro to security roles, right? Who is behind all this protection? We're gonna look at some of those key roles in cybersecurity, from beginners just getting started to specialists deep in the trenches, right? So the first one we got here is SOC analyst, or SOC is Security Operations Center. It's the first responder of cybersecurity. They monitor systems 24/7. They watch alerts and investigate suspicious activity. If you like solving puzzles and spotting patterns, this is the stuff that you can start doing, right? We got pen tester, or red team, is the ethical hacker, pretty much. They break into systems on purpose, but for good reason. And they try to find weaknesses before the actual attackers do. So that's what a pen tester do. Cybersecurity engineer, they pretty much builder and architects. They design and maintain tools that keep the defenses and the network safe. So in the company, a cybersecurity engineer, they might, if it's a company that's starting from scratch, they might be like, hey, this is the system that you should do for scanning. This is what you should utilize for X and Y, right? So it's that person that kind of build that security foundation for that company or entity, right? So GRC analyst, or governance, risk, and compliance. That's what GRC means. The rule keeper, pretty much. They make sure organization follows security laws, policies, frameworks, and pretty much I think that if you're detail oriented and you like this structure, this might be your lane. Incident responder, so the firefighter of cybersecurity. So when a breach happens, they are the ones who can contain it. While they can do it recovering systems and learning from the attack. I mean, it depends what it is, but these guys are the first responders, pretty much. Now, something that I want to mention is that cybersecurity is one of the fastest growing fields in IT. And they got millions of unfilled jobs worldwide currently. And let me tell you something, you know what's the best part? There's a path for every personality. Where you like to build, break it, protect it, organize it, there's a place for you in cybersecurity. So now let's move on, okay? So how it all fits together. This is the big picture right here. So when you step back and look at everything we have covered in this Tech 101 series, I think everything starts to click. So hardware is the foundation, the physical layer that makes technology possible. Networking connects those systems and lets them communicate. Software and databases give them the purpose and function. And security protects it all, making sure that what we build and share can be trusted. Remember this, everything in IT is connected. It's just like pieces of a puzzle. And now you know how those pieces fit together. This is what the digital world is built on. And understanding these fundamentals is your first steps to finding your place in IT. Great job in finishing part 4 and the whole Tech 101 series. That's a big milestone in understanding how the world of IT works. Now, it's the same as the other videos that we did. I'm gonna leave that 10-question quiz in the comments. Drop your answers and I'll personally reply with your scores and some feedback to help you out. Now we got another discussion question. Have you or someone that you know been hacked or maybe just scammed online? Share your story. I mean, you can leave the personal stuff out if you want, but you never know who you can be helping with your story. So do that favor for the team and for the community. Now, if you like this series and you want to find out where do you fit in tech, check out my tech type framework videos. It will help you find your career path that matches your strengths. Now, as always, if you find this helpful and you think I've earned it, hit a like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, share with somebody that might be thinking into breaking into tech, help somebody out. And as always, this is JR. Thank you for watching, and congrats once more for completing the Tech 101. See you next time. JR out.